the full screen. There we go. Let me make sure it's, there we go. Now it's recording. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Namisha. All right, good evening, everybody. This is the public meeting for the water main replacement project in the area of Northwest Hilldale Drive to I-29, Northwest 66th Terrace to Northwest 72nd Street. Thank you all for joining us virtually. We appreciate everybody's accommodations to this virtual meeting until we start doing these back in person again in the future. Next slides, Namisha. All right, just a couple of housekeeping items to go over. First of all, this meeting is being recorded. We will be posting this to the KC Water website after the conclusion of the meeting, so check in a day or two. If you miss this meeting or if you have neighbors that also want to see it, it should be posted to the website in a couple of days. If you wish to ask your question, or provide a comment, you do have the option to raise your hand here through Teams. The other option is please just feel free to interrupt us at any time. We will stop and answer any questions at any time. If you're on the phone calling in also, please feel free to chime in and we will answer your questions as you have them. Also, at the end of the presentation, we will be requesting questions and we'll have contact information up for our project manager. Feel free at any time after this presentation throughout the project to reach out to the project manager as well. Next slide, Namisha. So our project team tonight for this project, we have Jeff Martin, our Chief Engineering Officer from KC Water. Myself, I'm Melanie Jollitt. I'm the Water Distribution Division Head. We have Namisha on the call also. She's our project manager from the KC Water side. We have Dwayne as well. He's our inspector on the KC Water side. And we also have Chad Haynes from the contractor, and he'll be the project manager for the contractor. We also have Matt Bond, our deputy director, and Terry Leeds on the call as well. Next slide, Namisha. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Martin, and he's going to give us some background information on water services.
Thanks, Melanie. Good evening, everybody. Jeff Martin here with KC Water. So we'd just like to take a little time to remind everyone that KC Water is more than just your water utility here. We're actually 3 utilities in one. So we're your water utility, your wastewater utility, and your stormwater utility. So the next slide. So with that, in order to support all 3 of those utilities, we have a lot of assets in place throughout the city and beyond in the metro area. So for our clean water utility side, we actually have 1 water treatment plant, another 18 pump stations that pump the water throughout the city to all our customers, over 2,800 miles of water mains that run throughout to move that potable water around for all our customers as well. So it's really what the project that we're talking about here tonight focuses on, is replacement of some of that 28 miles of water mains. So on the wastewater side, we actually have 6 wastewater treatment facilities spread throughout the city, both north and south of the river. Another 39 pump stations, 2,800 miles of sewer mains, over about 67,000 sewer manholes spread throughout the area. And then the third leg of our utility is our stormwater utility. That's probably the one that most people have the least knowledge of. They just don't realize what all is entailed with that. So obviously, a lot of people understand the storm inlets that are along the streets and curbs in front of their houses that collect the water off the streets. We have about 630 miles of storm sewer pipe in the ground to transfer that water. But then we also have 13.5 miles of levees along the rivers and streams throughout KCMO that we actually maintain to protect areas from flooding. So next slide. And really, with all 3 of those utilities, it all ties back into the Missouri River, really our one water source here for the metro area. So the Missouri River is where we pull our water from to clean it for everyone to consume. It's where our storm sewers eventually go back into, and then eventually where the wastewater treatment plants discharge that cleaned water back into the system. So it's vitally important that we help preserve the river, keep it as clean as we possibly can, actually hopefully cleaner than when we start with it, and keep it usable for everyone into the future. So next slide, I will turn it back over to Melanie to talk about our water main replacement program.
Thanks, Jeff. So as you all are aware, this is the public meeting for a water main replacement project. And so just a little history on our water main replacement program. The distribution system that KC Water maintains, it includes 2,800 miles of water mains. Some of these mains date back to the 1800s, so we do have some aging infrastructure within our system, and this is a challenge that many utilities are facing nationwide. Several years ago, KC Water implemented a water main replacement program, and the goal of this program is to replace 1% of our distribution system every year, and that equates to about 28 miles every year. We are in our 8th year of this program, and to date, we've replaced more than 200 miles. So we have seen great success with this program since we've implemented it, and it is our program to ensure that we are replacing our aging infrastructure. Next slide, Namisha. So how do we determine which mains to replace and when to replace them? We do this through data-driven priorities. So basically, KC Water invested in a new software about a year and a half ago, and it's called Info Asset Planner. And this software works with our GIS data, and it works with all of the asset management information that we have on our facilities, and that includes our water mains. And so basically, we're looking at data that we have on our mains, including age of mains, how many breaks a main has had, the diameter of a main, customers that are served by this main, and a variety of other criteria. And we're looking at the likelihood and consequence of failure of each segment of pipe within our distribution system. We're able to establish a likelihood and consequence of failure score, and then determine then assign a risk to each segment within our distribution system. And so every year we take the top 28 miles of the highest risk mains for likelihood and consequence of failure, and we develop projects to replace those mains. So we develop a variety of projects that go through design and then into construction. And then this project is going into construction. It was designed a year ago. All of our projects are designed to replace the water mains with zinc-coated ductile iron mains that are wrapped in a polyethylene sleeve. And this helps because this has a 100-year design life. So significantly for the remainder lifetime of this of the new infrastructure, we should not see significant breaks or maintenance issues on the new infrastructure. So this long-term infrastructure plan, it will reduce service interruptions due to breaks, and it will decrease costs because there will be less maintenance on the mains. And then the other great part of it is it does increase capacity and fire protection, because a lot of times the old mains are heavily tuberculated, meaning they have deposits inside the mains that are reducing the effective inner diameter of those mains. So by putting in these new zinc-coated ductile iron pipes, we have the effective capacity of the diameter that we're putting in, and that increases the capacity available to the customers. Next slide, Namisha. Okay, and so with that background information, I'm going to turn this over to Namisha, our project manager, and she's going to go into specifics on this project in detail.
All right. Thank you, Melanie. Right. Can you see my screen?
We can, yes.
Okay. Good evening. This is Nimesha. I'm the project manager from KC Water. So on this slide, you can see the overall layout of the project. This is our project map. That's about 1.9 miles altogether, or in other words, 9,948 linear feet. I will talk about the 8 line segments we are replacing, and then we'll talk about what to expect throughout the project duration, and also the project schedule will be explained by our contractor, Chad Haynes, towards the end of the presentation. So line 1, we're going to replace about 1,555 linear feet along Northwest Caney Creek Drive with 8-inch ductile iron pipe that will be between Northwest Hilldale Drive and North Chinquapin Court. Line 2 will be replacing 723 linear feet along North Chinquapin Court between Northwest Caney Creek Drive. Towards the end of this cul-de-sac, we'll have 8-inch ductile iron pipe, and will get reduced to a 6-inch towards the end. Line number 3, Northwest Clam Drive, that'll get an 8-inch ductile iron pipe. That will be about 3,204 linear feet between this Northwest Hilldale Drive and Northwest Prairie View Road. Line number 4 will be Northwest 67th Terrace between North St. Clair Avenue towards the end of the cul-de-sac, and that will be about 379 linear feet. Line number 5, 291 linear feet along Northwest, hold on, so 291 linear feet between Northwest Clam Drive towards the end of the cul-de-sac. That will get a 6-inch ductile iron pipe. Line number 6, 390 linear feet with 6-inch ductile iron pipe along North Dalton Court between Northwest Clam Drive and the end of the cul-de-sac. Line number 7, 643 linear feet along North St. Clark Court between Northwest Clam Drive and the end of the cul-de-sac. The last line is Northwest Prairie View Road between Northwest Bogle Lane and Northwest 70th Street. That'll be about 2,763 linear feet. So altogether, that'll be about 1.9 miles. Moving on to the next slide. So what happens on your block? First of all, utilities will be marked and potholed to verify the location and the elevation. Then our approved traffic control plan will be implemented. We'll so cut a pavement, a narrow trench will be excavated, and we'll bury the new pipe in gravel. During this time, I will also explain there will be 3 planned water outages. The first one would be to construct a temporary connection between the existing water line and the new water line. That is to test and disinfect the new water main. The duration would be a maximum of 4 hours unless there is an unforeseen challenge. In that case, we'll make sure we work diligently to restore the water back. While we wait for the results to come back, you'll see little to no activity in the area, and that may take a week or more. The second outage would be once we get the results back, the approved results back, with both the new and the old water mains in service, we'll transfer the customer service lines from the old pipe to the new pipe. And during that time, if your meter is also inside the property, we'll remove it and install a new one in the yard. Third outage is to construct a permanent connection and abandon the old water main. Finally, there's also restoration, temporary and permanent. We will restore the curbs, sidewalks, driveways, and in season, the lawns that we disturbed. Next slide, what to expect. There'll be large equipment in use and that may create noisy conditions and dusty conditions that will be controlled in a safety manner. Like I explained in the previous slide, there'll be water service outages that will be for short periods of time, for about 4 hours maximum. You'll be notified ahead of time with door hanger notices or by other means. Affected curbs, driveways, and other pavement will be restored per KCM or Public Works Department standards. The disturbed established lawn areas will be sodded after work is completed and as the season permits. Ordinary travel routes may be temporarily restricted according to our traffic control plan. Also, at the end of the project, this will reduce the chance of water main breaks in future, and our fire protection will be enhanced in the neighborhood. Next slide, this kind of explains what I previously mentioned by water meter relocations. This red line indicates our right-of-way, and this blue arrow is KC Water's responsibility, and the green arrow indicates the customer's responsibility. When we transfer the service line from the old main to the new water line, we will also reconnect the service line, and the water meter will be installed in the yard. The curb stop will be on the right of way. Next slide. There are a couple of houses where the water meter is inside the property, and if that's the case, we will first make an appointment with the homeowner, and we'll relocate this water meter into the yard onto a meter pit. Next slide, project sequencing and duration. This will start next month, August 2021, and the final completion will be April 2022. This is the final date. Our substantial completion will be in February, towards the end of February. That means by February, we should have all the lines installed and restoration complete. So between February and the end of April, we will take care of other minor issues that we could not take care before. I'll let Chad jump in and talk about the project schedule.
Okay, we will be starting on Clam Drive, working from the west to the east. Most likely be done in 2 segments so we can get all the other streets and services done during that time, all the way towards Prairie View Road for one crew. Second crew will be on Northwest Caney Creek Drive, working that line, and then we'll start back over from the west, going back to the east on Sweetbriar Court, Dalton Court, St. Clair Court, and then come back to Chinquapin Court. That'll be the second to last one. The last one will be Prairie View Road.
Okay, sounds good. And we provide notice prior to starting work in the neighborhood, and if you should always have access to your property, and if you don't, please make sure you let the contractor know, or just contact me. I will have our contact information towards the end of the presentation, and we'll make sure you have access to your property. If you want to get access to the postcard invitation, you can follow this link and find this project for the information sheet. Chad Hayes is our general contractor. This is his phone number. Dwayne is our KC Water resident inspector. His contact number is listed here, and this is myself. I'm the project manager of this project. This is my phone number. So if you have any questions, just make sure you just reach out to us, and we'll take care of it. With that, that's the end of the presentation. And if you have any questions, we will take them now.
Thanks, Demisha. Do we have questions? I see none.
No, why don't we jump back to that previous slide real fast, Demisha, and then just remind everybody that that link that's shown on that previous slide is the where you can find information about the project, as well as this recording to pass on to anyone in your neighborhood that wants to view it later.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate everybody's attendance and listening to this presentation. And like Jeff said, if you have any questions, please reach out to Demisha. And she will be available to answer any questions whatsoever. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.